Hello, warriors. Welcome back to Doc Talk with Dr. Diane Kazer. It's Warrior Wednesday, and this is the Cleanse Heal Ignite podcast. Today, I'm going to cover something that it's a topic that I used to talk about a lot when I was a personal trainer and a yoga teacher and a professional bodybuilder and bikini competitor back in the day. And one of the things that I'm noticing with a lot of patients and members in our community, as well as people I talk to out in the world, is that this might even be you. You hear yourself saying something like, I know I should be exercising more, but I just don't. Or they say, I just can't. And so I want to bring back something that I have been very well experienced, well researched, qualified, certified to talk about, and have helped thousands, if not at this point, since I've been doing this since I was 17 years old as a personal trainer, several tens of thousands of people all around the world with, and that's movement. Our bodies are designed to move. We used to walk, our ancestors, before in the early 1900s when we were out farming in the fields and we had to forage for our food. We used to walk at least 10 to 12 miles per day. And I'm actually sitting on my stand-up treadmill desk today, but I'm not walking. Usually when I'm doing my behind the scenes work and creating peptide protocols, preparing for podcasts, etc., I walk at least 10,000 miles per day on my stand-up treadmill desk. There is a difference between walking and exercising. So I always tell people that walking is good, but it's not exercise. It's lymphatic drainage and it's movement. It's mitochondrial movement and stimulation, but it's not the same as muscle gain, which is what you need for metabolism and easy fat loss. So I'm going to quote something from Bobby Kennedy, not who I'm a big fan of right now, but who I don't even know where he got this data. But it's just something that I've been talking about lately, where he quoted, "A healthy person has 1,000 dreams. A sick person has just one: to be well." Right now, 60% of Americans have one dream: to make it through a day with no pain. And so a lot of people, their roadblock to exercise and movement, despite knowing better and despite us putting this in their protocols, they can't exercise. They don't want to exercise. They don't have the energy. They feel they're in pain. They're inflamed. And so today's episode is called "Pain, Low Energy, or Fat Loss Holding You Back." This is my elite athlete protocol. So by no means am I going to share what we're talking about today, expecting you or hoping that you would become a professional athlete or a bikini competitor. The reason I say it like that is because if I'm sharing things from an extreme perspective, and right now the other extreme is to do nothing, my hope is that you find some inspiration to do something in between and find your balance in the middle and at least take action. So I'm going to share an article at this point, not right now, but in the episode, that's called "Fat Burning Fitness: Trick the Muscle, Trump Your Growth, and Trim the Fat." Because we now have 10% of the population and growing on Ozempic or GLP-1s of some kind. And I'm not talking about the ones that we talk about in the show, which would be things like retatrutide, which is so much better. It's a GLP-3. I'm talking about the unhealthy ones, the Ozempic, the Wegovy, the Mounjaro, that doctors are prescribing and are making people very, very sick, because what's lacking in taking these GLP-1s, which is extremely dangerous, including the black box warning that causes thyroid cancer and many other issues. 70% of people on these GLP-1s prescribed by their MDs are sick, nauseous, vomiting, and within 3 months they quit. And then they're worse. So they gain more fat and they lose more muscle, because half of weight loss is muscle. And that's your metabolism. That is your fat burning at a rested state. And this is why so much of the controversy around GLP-1s, specifically prescribed by doctors, is not working. Is because people are not moving. They're not eating the right things. They're not getting proper sleep, and they're not focusing on drainage and detox, which is why we're going to talk about the whole big picture today. So if you're listening Make sure that you're sharing this with people if it resonates with you, or if you know people who are having a hard time getting moving and just need some inspiration, motivation, maybe also can really benefit from the solutions that we're talking about today. I'm going to go over some of the bullet points and then we're going to make some announcements. So, in today's episode, I am going to reveal many athletes' strategies like myself that I've been using for many, many years to break through weight gain and fat loss plateaus that never seem to budge, and not just using Ozempic to get there. Eliminating stubborn body pain at its root, not just mask it with pain pills or treatments or surgeries. While I'm not saying surgeries don't work, sometimes they're necessary, but it's a very small percentage of the population that it really makes sense for. Most people just jump straight into surgery without focusing on some of the things that we're covering today. How to boost your energy levels that last all day without burning out, how to break through mental and physical plateaus, like for next level performance, how to sculpt a body that feels strong, lean, and pain free, and how to utilize peptides and detox strategies and drainage techniques to accelerate healing, how to support muscle growth and improve recovery. So, we're going to cover all of that. And I want to make some announcements today because it is almost the summer solstice, which is in 2 days. And that marks the beginning of our summer sale. So we have a few times every year that we have big sales. It tends to be around my birthday, which is in October for fall, also tends to be around Christmas time and around this time, the summer solstice, when there is the more focus, and there has historically been more focus on the bikini body, right? Or the board shorts body for men. And while we have a lot of crazy shit happening in the world right now, and more people are maybe focused on, prepping and making sure that they're ready if something happens with the grid, which I've been focusing on for 5 years now since COVID hit. So if those are things of your interest, then know that they're in many modules, interviews, and also a preparatory strategy. We did a whole series, 11-part series on prepping. And that's inside of the VIP group, which is all part of what you get for joining for just $1. We'll flash all the links below, dianekazer.com/VIP. So if your focus is that, join the VIP group. You're going to get all of that support. But today we're going to specifically focus around how to be stronger, how to get the energy and the strength and the muscle gain, the metabolic recovery that you need, as well as many people's main goal has been and always will be how to lose weight, but do it the right way. Many people don't know it the right way until they do it the wrong way. So we'll flash the little coupon codes and our links below here, which Paula had been doing just a minute ago for my producer. We are doing 25% off for supplements for everybody who is in the VIP group. So that's going to make its money back because it's $1 for the first week. And then it's $97 a month thereafter. You get me, you get my team in there for an hour and a half after this podcast. And you can ask us anything, whether it's about peptides or about these types of topics, that you could ask me anything after the show, and we're here to help. Or if it's an injury repair, recovery from a surgery, etc. So we're doing 25% off for VIP members, and we're doing 10% off for non-VIP members. And we'll flash the coupon codes below so that you know exactly what they are. Those coupon codes are live now, and that sale is happening for all Cellcore products and also my collagen queen. It's a powder. I put it in my coffee every single morning. And there are other things you could do. You could add it to your smoothies, etc. So get an extra 25% off for being part of the VIP tribe. That's what you'll get. You'll see that coupon code when you're in there. And then Paula will flash the coupon code for all VIP non-members so that you guys can get your discount. And we're doing that all the way until the full moon, which is July 10th. And that is also, the reason we're doing this big sale as well is because we have a big parasite protocol that I'm going to be leading the first time with peptides so that you can work on the entire body. And all of the prep that we're doing for that is going to be in the VIP group. So make sure that you guys are joining that so that you know exactly which peptides to buy, as well as you guys get a 15% off discount for buying peptides. That's on dianekazer.com/peptides. And you could buy all the peptides that I'm talking about in the group. But I'm not going to cover that today. Today is explicitly focused on exercise, muscle building, etc. So Paula, make sure you fly the coupon code for all of the sale, for the summer sale for non-VIP members as well, so that you guys can see that, and I'll announce that. Many people have been asking me questions about like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like your arms look great. Your body, like your abs. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because I've lived my entire life as an athlete. I was a professional soccer player, if you guys didn't know that. And as you guys know, as a national level competitive bodybuilder and bikini competitor. And toward the end of my competition days, which I'm not doing anymore, although I could probably compete right now and do pretty well, because that's what I did the last bikini competition I was in. As I said, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to just live my life extremely clean. I'm just going to level up the amount of weights that I'm using. This is a picture of me in my first bikini competition. And what I mean by bikini and bodybuilder is I was a competitive athlete when I was doing more figure, and figure means that they want more muscle gains. There was 2 weeks that I was using steroids, and I decided I'm not going to do this anymore. This is unhealthy. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to show people that I'm doing all these healthy things, but really behind the scenes, bodybuilders are the most unhealthy patients I've ever worked with. The reason for that is because they're very dysfunctional. I don't want to take you guys to that extreme. I'm going to bring you guys to the less extreme version of how to have a body that might maybe not look like this. I was probably about 12% body fat at this point. Bikini competitors have a lot less body fat, but they have that also, I would say a little bit more body fat and less muscle. So in this picture here, what I was doing in order to attain a body like this is what I teach in the Warrior Cleanse. So the Warrior Cleanse is an entire drainage strategy. It focuses on ensuring that your body is really letting go and releasing a lot of what we call shit. T is the toxins, the I is the infections like parasites, and the H is the hormone imbalances or deficiencies that you have. And then stress is all things physical, emotional, chemical, spiritual, so that your whole body is an ecosystem and it's working together as a team. I always say there's 11 players in the soccer field at any one given time, and you have 11 systems in the body. You know, your endocrine system, your nervous system, your digestive system, all of it. So we want to make sure that your body is a symphony and it's playing together and it's harmonizing and it is performing as well as it can, no matter what age that you are. So in this picture, I only took 3 months to prepare for this, and I didn't have a coach. I had a posing coach. And of course I'm a little spray tan in this picture, and I had my fake breast implants, which I removed. But I was very lean. I felt amazing. I didn't deplete my body. I did coffee enemas on a regular basis. I was doing saunas on a regular basis. I was drinking a lot of bone broth. I was eating more protein than usual and ensuring that I was balanced. I was on point with my supplements. At that point, I wasn't even doing peptides. This was 2019, I believe it was, 2018, around there. So about 7 years ago. But my body doesn't look that much different right now. So people have been asking me, which is the reason I'm doing this show, is what is your secret? And so today I'm going to share that secret. And I would say my secret on steroids, but it's more like my secret on peptides. So now whenever I don't use the word on steroids anymore, because literally I don't use them. And there are other things that we can do for that. So we can go ahead and close this picture, Paula. But I want you guys to have somewhere in the middle of what's realistic for how you can be strong and how you can burn the fat easy. And I'm talking about it will melt off. It will melt off and you'll be like, how have I never heard of this? You'll have the energy, you'll have the motivation, you'll have the food, you'll have the drainage, you'll have everything on point. So you're not going to have to do every single thing that I'm talking about today, but it's just to get you thinking about how to get motivated. And once you're there at the gym or doing things, that you're baby stepping and tiptoeing your way to having the energy, the motivation, the drive, and the strength to want to keep doing more. So this is for all of you guys who've been asking me that question. And also a benefit to all of this is that if something happens and we have to fight for ourselves, you know, right now we've been seeing crazy things like King's Day and a bunch of people fighting in the streets. If it comes time where you have to protect yourself and your family and you don't have the energy and you're overweight, you're not going to be able to do so. So use your body as a defense strategy and mechanism to protect the things that you value, including yourself and your home or whatever it is, right? So it's not just about looking great, it's about feeling great, and it's about being able to be functional enough where you have the energy and the muscle build and the gains so that you can fend off anybody who is coming at you, right? We're seeing all kinds of weird videos of people running over, using their cars for self-defense. but you might have to, and there comes a time where you might have to use your body as self-defense. I don't like to talk about negativity like this, but it's actually reality. We're seeing that now. So I like to face these things head on and say, what can we do about it, right? All right. So let's also, one more announcement, and then we're going to get right into the strategies and what I'm recommending. But make sure if you're not in the VIP group, get in there now. You could join for $1 and you'll see the link right when you hit the welcome. You'll get the email. You'll see the welcome section, which says, here's the link to join and the password. And right after this, we'll have our after party where you can ask me anything. We have been experiencing, not only in our ministry, but globally, collectively, that people are on overdrive. They're on overwhelm, myself included. And it's not that I don't love doing what I do. It's not that I like to live my life in overwhelm, but there's family members, people who are struggling with breakdown and poor energy, and their brains are not clear as they used to be. And we have a lot of moving parts of the ministry where we're leading, Parasite Full Moon Challenge and the Warrior Cleanse and peptides and regenerative research. And so the many hats that I'm wearing now means that I need to do more research. The many hats that I have right now means I need to switch hats. And, a month ago, you guys all heard that my father fell very ill and went to the ER twice, and doctors left him to die. I'm not saying that lightheartedly. I'm saying that intentionally. So when things like this happen, I have to drop everything and I have to provide for my family. And so we're having a lot more of that in our lives. And so what we're going to start doing is something that I used to do probably that time when I was a bikini competitor, bodybuilder. We're going to do 3 podcasts a month. The 4th Wednesday of every month, we are going to take a sabbatical. We are not going to do a podcast. My sense and intuition is that we need to take a week to reset, to research, to rest, to restore, to regenerate, and reformat and reprogram and restructure the coursework that we have for you. So I need space, I need time, I need nothing in my schedule so that I can do the work to regenerate myself, to repair myself, and also as a team. Everybody's overwhelmed. I know that you guys are too. I know you have family members and things coming up. So we're not going to do a show on the 4th Wednesday of every month. Sometimes there's 5 Wednesdays a month, and then we'll do that, of course, but we won't have a podcast, but we will have our VIP group, but it won't be me leading it. It's going to be one of our other members who does all of our clinical calls, our patient protocols, and she's a badass. You met her already before. Hopefully at this point, you've heard her before speak with me on this show, or if you're a patient, you've heard her in the ministry on calls with you. And her name is Carrington. She is a total badass and she's beautiful. So she will be in the VIP group with you guys, leading and answering and supporting all the questions that you have if you're a VIP member or if you're in our minister group as a transformation patient. So that's all the announcements. So make sure that you're on our email list to be notified when that's happening. If just notified we're not having a podcast, that's dianekazer.com/updates. I know I have a lot of tickers I'm always putting down here with Paula, producer Paula. And also that if you're listening to this, that you can go and make sure that you're on our list. You're the first in the know when we have discounts, we have updates, we have coupon codes, we have new things coming out. We have out of stock updates for things like Sloop or CMAX, that my friend Sarah Westall and Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, put out of stock because of all the great work that they've been doing for their millions of followers. Because I'm also a co-host on their show for many shows where we talk about regenerative medicine, cleansing, peptide protocols, and more. All right, you guys, let's get into the show. Thank you for being patient. Let's get into the topics that I mentioned that we are going to cover. I will reference, like I mentioned, an article that is dianekazer.com/fat burning fitness. And you guys could always take a look at that. I'll get to it in a minute. But I want to start just by laying out the groundwork for why so many of you might feel like you're not motivated to lose weight or to go to the gym or even just to get moving. So first I want to cover the most important thing, which many people ask me about, which is weight gain. And I want to talk about how to break through weight gain and fat loss plateaus first. Now, first, let's address why is it happening? So hormonal resistance is one reason of 4 big ones. That would mean if you have hormonal resistance, that is insulin resistance, leptin resistance, thyroid dysfunction. And that is also something that we've talked about a lot here in the ministry, that 93% of people are metabolically broken, which means they have metabolic chaos. It means that they have insulin resistance. That doesn't always look like full-blown diabetes or type 2 diabetes I'm referring to. It might mean that you are on your way to it, and you have some of the precursors that might look like that. That might be A1C levels are high, blood sugar is high, blood pressure might be high, and you have insulin resistance, as you might see on hormonal labs or doing normal labs like your CBC. Now, just keep in mind that if you go run these blood tests with your standard doctor, they're going to miss a lot of important markers. So that's why the ones that we do with patients are far more detailed, far more deep dive with a lot more markers. You can get some basic, super basic ones from your doctor, but we like to look at a lot more. Most doctors, I would say 98% of the time, when I ask a patient, go get a thyroid lab drawn, go do a CBC, and I'll give them all the markers that we test for. And no matter what, it always fails. The doctor, the MD, the primary care physician, no matter who it is, they will not run all those markers. Why? Because insurance doesn't cover it, or they don't even know what to do with those markers if they came back with them. The ranges are super wide. They miss many things. So if you would like to become a patient and explore more about the detail that we go into with environmental medicine, detox and drainage, hormonal recovery and repair, peptide remedies and protocols that are individualized to you, all of that is all on this landing page, dianekazer.com/patient, where you click to become schedule a patient discovery call. And if you apply and we accept you, then we will have a call with you. Some people are not qualified or not ready for the work that we do. And so if you do have a call with one of our members, then it's because you are a good candidate. So we don't accept everybody. We only accept people who are really, really ready for this work. Okay, so let's get back to the other work that I was talking about, because it's important to understand first why you can't lose weight. And that is number one, hormonal resistance. There's a lot of reasons why people are hormonally resistant, and I'm going to talk about that today beyond this. The second reason that you can't lose weight and burn fat is mitochondrial burnout. What that equates to is sluggish metabolism. You're not just tired, your cells are not making energy for you. And what we found in testing our patients is that 90% of your energy has been drained out, which means that, and I'm saying 100% of our patients, you're at 90% of battery drain, which means your cells are only making mitochondria, ATP, to the tune of 10% of your full capacity, which means that you're operating at 10% battery all day long. No wonder why. No wonder why you're too tired to work out, right? No wonder why your metabolism is low. No wonder why you're gaining weight. We're going to fix that all today and apply it in the VIP group, where you can ask me anything, as well as if you would like to become a patient as well. The third reason is overstressed adrenals. And if your adrenals are overstressed, there's no such thing as adrenal fatigue. All it is the two things I talked about before, as well as the fourth thing I'll talk about in a minute. Your adrenals respond to their environment. Your body is a fish tank, and your adrenals respond to what's happening in the inside of it, all of the data it's given. But if your adrenals are overstressed, your body goes into fat storing mode. And one of the other things that goes with that is your thyroid. The fourth thing on why you can't lose weight is toxin overload. And those are things like pesticides and heavy metals and xenoestrogens, plastics, parabens, all the things that we talk about here that we help you address in the warrior cleanse. And all of that disrupts metabolism. I know one thing that people don't really get is that you're not just sick, you're toxic. You don't just get cancer. You don't just get autoimmune disease. You're being poisoned. No matter, where you live, despite your best efforts, we all need to be focusing on cleansing, ABC, at all times. So the peptide solutions that I have for you guys on that are things that I've talked about before. Some of these are injectables, some of these are intranasals, some of these are pills. If you're somebody who's shy about injecting, we've got you covered, no worries. There are certain peptides that come in pill form and intranasal form. If you're if you were a patient, we customize a peptide protocol. We use a lot of P's in this practice. So if you're a patient, we customize all of that for you. But the ones that I'm referring to right now, these are injections. Well, the first one is not. It's called 5-amino-1-MQ. And if you're like, Diane, you're talking Greek to me, it's letters and numbers. Don't worry. Like I said, like I always say, inside of our course, the VIP course, and I'm sorry, my printer will not print pink, which is my favorite color. Won't pink red. I'm having a fight with it. I can't figure out how to fix it. Someone come over here and help me. But we have an entire guide, which I'm updating on a regular basis, that tells you exactly how to use these peptides, exactly how much to take, how much to dose, for how long, when to switch, what to switch it to. This is all in the VIP group currently. That's going to change. We're going to have our own peptide course that you could purchase. But right now it's part of the VIP group, which you can get for only $1. So talk about exactly which ones, how much to take. And if you don't have to take notes, 5-amino-1-MQ is one of the ones I'm talking about today. It's in that document. What 5-amino-1-MQ does, and it's in pill form, which is awesome for those of you who are needle phobic to start with, or will never do it, but it's amazing. I took it this morning. I take it on a regular basis. It essentially turns your body internally into an athlete. It boosts your metabolism by inhibiting an enzyme that causes you to store fat. So that one's extremely powerful. Sloop is another really good one, but 5-amino-1-MQ, for if we're ever out of stock with Sloop, SLUPP, is another one for another show I talked about. But 5-amino-1-MQ is really powerful to bring back your metabolism. And that's one of the reasons why you're storing fat, like I mentioned. The second one is CJC 1295 and ipamorelin combo. And that is a human growth hormone secretagogue that is an injection. It stimulates your natural human growth hormone, which then has the result of boosting fat burning and also stimulating lean muscle. So this is really, really important because many of you are like, I don't know why I can't lose weight and build muscle. But I did a show yesterday with one of our patients. Her name's Cynthia, and she's a super powerhouse. She heard my interview with Sarah Westall, and she's like, I got to get on this stuff. Within 2 weeks, she was out riding her bike 40 to 50 miles again. Whereas before she didn't have the energy or the focus. She was experiencing a lot of bipolar, mood dysregulation. And she came to us because she wanted to get off of these neurological drugs. And she's almost done with them. She's almost completely off of them. So she started taking things like this, and her muscles started gaining again, building again. You should see the inflammation. You don't have the before and after pictures of that, Paula, I know, to show, but we will be featuring her on our peptide course landing page so you guys can see. She looks like a totally different person. She lost like 15 pounds. Her face was super puffy and inflamed. She completely revolutionized in 2 weeks. And now she's at 3 months and she's a totally different person. And I'll share some other things that came from our podcast yesterday, but it's really, really important that we focus on building muscle because, like I mentioned, especially if you're taking GLP-1s, we must be focusing on building muscle again because half of weight loss is muscle. That leaves you naked for your metabolism for when you get off of GLP-1s if you're somebody who is taking GLP-1s. Although I would say, do not start on GLP-1s. I would recommend starting with a 5-amino-1-MQ first. Start low and slow, work your way toward GLP-1s because you might not even need them, or GLP-3s like retatrutide, because people don't have drainage support, their metabolism is broken, they don't have mitochondria. All of these things are important. So this is a really great place to start. The third one to support you guys with weight gain plateaus is MOTS-C. And MOTS-C is a mitochondrial peptide that turns on brown fat burning, which is the dangerous fat around your belly section. If you want to start seeing your muscle gains and look, I got some abs, or start to see that beautiful muscle or the lines and the bones around, your midsection. And, most people can't even see their bones anymore because they have so much fat around their belly. It's not just about aesthetics, you guys. The more brown fat that you have around your belly, the more likely that you are to have dis-ease and dysfunction and disorder and diagnoses. So that is really important. It's not just about burning fat. It's about getting rid of the fat. It is about getting rid of the dangerous fat that is causing you to have many also organs inflamed. Like a lot of people, one of the number one procedures done in the ER now is gallbladder removal. Your gallbladder is not the problem. It is the toxins. It is the lack of drainage. It is the lack of metabolism and mitochondria that's causing stagnation. So we want to prevent that. So MOTS-C is an injection. It is awesome. It gives you a lot more energy. And when you have more energy, you have more focus. A lot of people don't even realize that one of the key reasons why they're depressed is just simply because they have mitochondria deficiency, AKA they're exhausted. So a lot of times it's not just depression. You just have mitochondrial deficiency issues and you're at 10% battery. So those are really 3 powerful ones to support weight gain and weight loss and fat loss plateaus. Now let me go into body pain. So a lot of people say I'm exhausted and I'm also injured or I'm in pain. So I like to use the AINS. Now we're talking, we went from weight gain to body pain. This is another big roadblock why people are not moving, let alone exercising. So let's talk about how to eliminate stubborn pain at its root. The reason why many people are in pain today, especially Americans, is that there's a chronic inflammatory cycle happening. There's maybe older injuries and they have an autoimmune response, which continues to keep your body inflamed and in pain. There's other things like old sports injuries that haven't fully healed. I've done episodes with Sean from SGT Report, and he's like, overnight, I injected just simply BPC. And I feel like my hip pain and my knee pain are gone. This is how fast it can be. And actually, Cynthia's producer, she was struggling for 11 years with a symptom and a condition. She was diagnosed with arthritis, I think it was. I think it was arthritis. It was one of the itises, which simply means you're inflamed somewhere in the body. Something itis means you're inflamed somewhere. So whatever it is, arterial walls is arthrosclerosis. You have arthritis. So that's all it is. It's an itis of that specific body part. And that's all it says is you're inflamed in that specific organ or tissue, but many people don't get it. They don't get it that that's not the root cause of the problem. That is a symptom. That's a diagnosis. They get you on a drug. So let's get you to the root of this, right? The reason why many people are in pain and inflamed and have itises is mold, viral load, or stealth infections that create silent inflammation, which is why we focus on cleansing, which is why when I say, hey, you guys, before you get on GLP-1s, before you start doing parasite cleanses, before you start addressing the things that are deeply rooted in your tissues and your brain, we have to drain first. And we have to address these old, maybe mold from when you were a child, old viruses, retroviruses from vaccines. Yes, that's the only place that they come from because viruses are not alive. They inject them inside of you, but they do come out to play when your immune system is not on point. So we want to make sure that we're covering all of that. The peptide solutions that I have for you guys are, like I mentioned already, the combo of BPC and TB500 is a powerhouse. BPC accelerates soft tissue healing, supports joints and your ligaments, as well as your gut and brain. It is one of the most well-researched peptides of all. And there are literally no side effects or issues that you might have from that. Maybe people worry about, oh, if I had cancer before, is that going to grow tumors or cancers or cysts? No, it won't. Human growth hormone secretagogues could, though. So that's one thing that you need to be mindful of. And I talk to all our patients about before you get on a human growth hormone secretagogue, let's make sure that we rule out tumor markers. Or if you have a history of cancer yourself or an active concern, then you shouldn't be taking those. And that's why we want to work with you one-on-one as patients to make sure that we could rule those things out. So BPC and TB500 are powerhouses, even if you're on prescriptions. TB500 reduces inflammation, it regenerates muscles and tendon tissues, and it promotes mobility. So those of you who are out there going, oh my God, it hurts to move. Well, we've got to get you moving somehow, right? We got to get you off of your couch or your butt somehow, right? And I always tell people too, if you can't exercise until we can get you to this point with applying these things I'm talking about today, at least get in the sauna. We got to get you sweating. There's so many statistics that I share in the Warrior Cleanse course about what it can do, including reducing the odds of heart disease by up to 70%. It's a huge deal if you use it 4 times a week, at least 20 minutes at a time. I prefer the full spectrum saunas, infrared saunas, but I digress. That is also what I say. Until we can get you to this point, promoting mobility, getting you moving, at least get in a sauna. Okay, we got to get you sweating. Because a lot of toxins are water soluble and they leave easily through the skin. That's why you have skin inflammation. That's why you have skin infections, is because you have your body trying to purge from your epidermis, which is your dermis, which is your skin layer. And that's lymphatic drainage. A lot of people have lymphoma and lymph issues, inflammation of the tissues at the very surface of the skin. They're wondering why they look so puffy. This is why. So saunas are also great in addition to exercise, which is one of the things I was doing when, like I mentioned, when I was doing my competing. And I ended up getting first place in my class, by the way, you guys, in my first bikini competition. I got third, my first bodybuilding figure competition. I got first in the second one, which is unheard of. And that's how I qualified for state and the nationals. So I work really hard on my body. And this is why I want to teach you guys these secrets, because I'm qualified to, number one, and number two, I have the experience. Number three, I care about you guys and I want to get you moving again. The last one to get you out of body pain is called KPV, and it's amazing for autoimmune pain and inflammation. Those 3 are all injections. However, several of them now come in a pill form. There's some capsules, a combination of capsules that I really love. One of them is called body repair capsules. And I believe it has all 3 of these. So if you're, shy to injecting, you could take them in capsule form now from Limitless. You can get that 15% off coupon code on dianekazer.com/peptides. The last one is energy, not the last one, sorry. The third one is energy drain. I get it. You might feel depressed. You might feel lethargic. You might feel like you can't get through the day without, having sustained energy. So let's talk about first what's draining your energy. Number one, like I mentioned before, mitochondrial dysfunction. That's post-viral fatigue. It could be toxic overload. It could be parasites. It could be many things. That's all part of that shit. Let's get rid of the shit, the stress, the hormone imbalances, which are caused by the bottom 2, the infections and the toxins. So that is the first reason why you have low energy. And this is where coffee doesn't last all day. The drinking the energy drinks, even B vitamins could actually trigger certain things in people. So we're going to talk about what can help. But second reason why your energy is drained is burnout, poor sleep quality. We'll talk about how to rectify that soon. And also hormonal imbalances. And so the burnout, why I said we're not going to do the 4th Wednesday of every month is because we're feeling the burnout because so many of our patients are burnt out. We're working harder than ever because they're very, very sick for a number of reasons that they don't understand or understand. And we have to fight hard to protect them from doctors poisoning them further. So we have to do a lot more work as a ministry today than we ever did. We're looking at hundreds of factors instead of just 1 or 2. So we're burning out too. We don't want to. We want you guys to take that week off as well to just rest and restore. The third reason why you're exhausted is hormone imbalances. That could be cortisol dysregulation, adrenal imbalances, and low thyroid. This is where HRT can come in handy, like testosterone and estrogen, progesterone, depending on if you're a man or a female, as well as DHEA. And those are all things we talk about with patients too, because some people really benefit from HRT depending on the age, depending on what's going on, depending on what your labs say. But most people are taking hormone replacement therapy incorrectly. They're taking estrogen, testosterone pellets. I'm totally in disagreement with that because most of them are made from soy and the GMO soy, and that's estrogen. What's the point of taking testosterone pellets that are made from soy that drives up your estrogen? It doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. This is why we do this here in the podcast, is to make everything make more sense, and dollars. So if you're going to take testosterone or anything, we talk about this in the VIP group, exactly what kind of HRT that we recommend, as well as becoming a patient, have it customized to you. So the peptide solutions that are great to boost your energy when you have energy drain, we already talked about MOTS-C. It enhances an ATP production. It also mimics exercise in fatigued bodies. So exactly how much to take, I talk about in this ebook, which is the guide that is inside of the VIP group currently. We'll have it separately as a peptide course, but it is really important to have something to support your ATP production, which is your mitochondria, in order for you to have the energy to want to work out. And the second one is CMAC or C-Link. Those are intranasals only. Those make sense for intranasals. They do not make sense in capsule form or in injection form, only intranasal. These two are powerhouses together to increase brain energy, oxygen use, clarity, and stamina. And also, so you have the motivation, the focus to want to exercise and to get walking or do something. It also focuses on mood, any kind of dysregulation, and neurocognitive and neurological repair. The third peptide is epitalion. Epitalion is a capsule. I love epitalion. I have patients take it every day, 3 times a day for 10 days, twice a year. It improves sleep quality. It increases your telomeres so that your body is actually literally anti-aging on the inside. And it also improves circadian rhythm so that you're more consistent with daily energy and also having the desire to fall asleep and have a good circadian rhythm with knowing when to wake up again. Sleep is super, super important. All right, let's get to move to broken brain. Now, you already talked a little bit about broken brain and some of these things too, but let's talk about what can help you break through mental and physical plateaus. What's holding you back? Number one, this is the blocking factor. Then I'll talk about the building factor, which is peptide solutions, because it's always important to talk about what is blocking you and what can help build you back up again. What is blocking you from having mental and physical stamina and focus is number one, mental fog, low dopamine, and motivation. Number two is depression, ADD symptoms, and addiction cycles. We talked about this 2 weeks ago when we talked about addiction and attachment to certain foods, drugs, recreational drugs, And also anything that a doctor might prescribe to you, right? We talked about that, and you could listen to that. It was a very powerful episode. The third thing that's holding you back is physical stagnation due to inflammation and slow recovery. So let's talk about the peptide solutions for that. And it's not just all about peptide solutions, you guys. Before you do any peptides, I recommend that you clean everything up in your body. That's what we do in the Warrior Cleanse. That's what we do in the VIP group. So this is a great place to start if you don't want to do peptides. And if you want to get into the peptides, we talk about that in the VIP group, as well as in my course, as well as if you become a patient. So the best peptides for broken brain are Selenkin C-Mac. I talked about that already for boosting dopamine, reducing anxiety, and enhancing neuroplasticity. The second one is copper peptides, which is GHKCU. CU on the scientific periodic table of elements stands for copper. And that supports cellular regeneration, brain healing, and focus support. It also, side effect and side benefit, supports all of your tissues, including your skin, hair growth, beauty building, and more. So that's why I say this whole thing is not just about the body. The third one, and you could do this, you could do copper peptides in spray form, you could do them in injection form, you could apply them topically. We talk all about that in the course inside the VIP membership group. The last one is CJC ipamorelin, which is a human growth hormone secretagogue. I talked about that one already. But GH boosts the growth hormone, boosts and aids muscle recovery and cognitive vitality. And so that's why it's also something that's included in muscle gain, the last one. We want to help you guys sculpt a strong, lean, and pain-free body. And why you're not able to currently do that, build muscle, drop fat, etc., is because you're not eating enough protein. You're possibly overtraining, but most people are not overtraining. I used to have that conversation 5 years ago before COVID, but most people are not overtraining anymore. They're undertraining. So if you're undertraining, if you're under recovering, let's talk about what you can do about that in a minute. But also, second, the reason why you're not able to have a lean and pain-free body is estrogen dominance, which are caused by xenoestrogen toxins, and low testosterone. I can't even tell you guys, including men and women, have super low testosterone. So I got to do my injection today, which reminds me, but super low testosterone. And I always recommend people have a little journal like this to keep track of all of the things that you're doing, so that you know the days that you feel like a superhuman, you're like, what did I do? What was my combination? Well, it's right there. And keep coming to the VIP group, because we talk about your progress and what we can make adjustments to, what we can make decrease in your life, etc. And then the third thing is high toxic burden and mineral depletion. Big time. The majority of the population right now is mineral deplete. It might look like I have a black eye. It's because I had minerals injected into my face, because I have major issues from having a lot of sun exposure from being a soccer player most of my life. So I had minerals injected into my face. Don't worry, not Botox. So the peptide solutions for that are going to help you is copper peptides, which I already talked about, supporting skin and fascia repair, also collagen synthesis, which leads to visible sculpting of your muscles. The second combination is BPC and TB500, which speeds healing and prevents breakdown while training. So I know I'm talking about a lot of peptides, you guys, but if you want this customized to you, I will answer all of your questions in the VIP group, and I'll tell you which ones you need, because there's a lot of powerful peptides, but not everybody needs to use all of them. But if you have specific pain points I'm talking about here, write down those peptides and get started on them. The last one, I talked about this a little bit already, which is the body pain, but I'll go a little bit deeper into it. If you have issues like sleep, this is where something like D7, it's an intranasal. You could use it as an injection as well. That's called Delta Sleep Induced Peptide. It's really helpful for people who are not regenerating and falling asleep well, staying asleep and waking up feeling recovered and having energy. It enhances growth hormone release while you sleep and also speeds recovery. So if you're out there and you feel like you just are not sleeping well, that's another powerful one. All right, let me show you the last image that I wanted to share with you guys with why you might be not exercising as much and what to do about it. It's our final little summary image that just kind of wraps up everything today. And then I'll talk about one final thing, which is the fat burning fitness article that I wrote. So when we get to the image, you guys are going to see all the blocking factors, the root causes, and the peptide-based solutions that I recommend, just to kind of bring this whole point home as to what you can do and what you should be doing to exercise. And also focus on the inner-sizing too, because summer solstice is a really, really good time to start shifting internally, because our brains are going to be on fire right now, moving through some shifts of some root cause trauma. And when we were in an inner child, maybe some of the healing that's going to come up for resolve. Don't let that drain you. Face it and free it by feeling it. And that's also the work that we do in the ministry group and the VIP group. So here it is, just to bring this point home, the reasons why you have these blocks, the root causes, and the peptide-based solution. So you guys could take a picture of this to know exactly what peptides that you might get started with, depending on what thing that you might feel like is an issue for you. If you have low energy, a lot of people are like, I have all of these problems. I have low energy. I have low motivation. I'm in pain. So these might all be for you. And you might be like, oh my God, where do I start? But as you can see, the hormonal resistance one, a lot of people just don't have enough estrogen, testosterone, or progesterone, and it could be caused by a toxic load. So you'll see a lot of these things on the side. The peptide-based solutions is the things I opened up with today. But we can go ahead and wrap this one up. Paula, thank you for showing this. And you could see the little link that you guys could buy the peptides with a discount. The last thing I want to share is the fat burning fitness. I apologize for the noise, you guys. They're doing construction next door. It's driving me crazy. I'm sure you could hear that. But let's look at the article I wrote. This is an article I wrote when Paula pulls it up. There it is. Years and years ago. But I shared this back in the day when I was still training people and I was a yoga teacher and I was helping them lose weight, prepare for shows, burn fat, and just achieve, this high performing body that they wanted to experience in their vessel. So let's scroll down where it says old cardio, new cardio. What I used to do, and people ask me, what do you do for your workouts? So I used to focus on different body parts. Now scroll up, Paula, there's an image right there. So zoom into that. You'll see that little square where I talk about, zoom down and you'll see the square there where I talk about different body parts I worked on during the day. I don't focus on this as much, but I do shift up my routines. So I used to do yoga on Monday. I used to do revolving stairs, like the step mill for cardio. I used to play soccer until I ruptured my Achilles tendon. I used to do treadmill sprint intervals where I do like 30 seconds, like at 8 miles an hour. Then I'd go down to 30 seconds or a minute recovery for like a 3.5 speed miles an hour. I would do that for 15, 30 minutes and I would go do something else like my bis and tris, which you could see in the middle there. I'd focus on a different body part with weights. I would do the elliptical for cardio for a different day and I would do a 6-mile run. So I would switch up my cardio. I'd be inside, I'd be outside. I'd do different things, high intensity, low intensity. And things that you can do when you work out where you're not even thinking. Like when I play soccer, I'm not really thinking about exercise. So that's really important. If you could scroll back into that image, Paula, because I'm still talking about that, that'd be great. I used to do Monday, Tuesday, different exercises. I'd focus on my shoulders on Monday. I'd focus on my back on Tuesday. I'd focus on my legs on Wednesday, bis and tris on Thursday. Friday, and Saturday, I'd mix it up, whatever I felt like my body needed, which is why intuitive-based exercise is so important. And then Sunday, I would take a rest. I think Paul is having a hard time zooming in, so you guys can't see this as well. But you can find that article on DianeKazer.com/fat burning fitness. All right, let's start bringing it home and wrapping it up here because I do want to make sure that I tell you guys what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now for fitness is on a regular basis on Mondays, I'm doing a TRX. Actually, no, we're doing glutes and core and legs. And so I love to go to the gym and do classes. There's a whole bunch of other people, like 15 other men and women in there. You're likely to do 3 times more if you're in a group setting because you're around other people. You want to keep, you're kind of competing internally with other people. It's fun, healthy, competition. So, and you're held more accountable. The trainer's making it fun. You got good music. It's like dancing. Go do group fitness. You're way more likely to hold yourself accountable when you have friends there who are like, hey, are you going to class? Get in there, you guys. I'm serious. This is a game changer. And then you have the coach who will help you with form and everything else. And then on Tuesday, I do TRX for an hour with the same trainer. It's more like 45 minutes. So TRX is like this long yellow rope and you do different body parts. You're doing like biceps, you're doing shoulders, you're doing back, you're doing core, you're doing legs, which is awesome when you have a coach that's just telling you what to do, right? I used to do that. I do have workouts on my YouTube page that you guys can reference from several years ago too, if you want to train with me. But anyway, those are all things that I'd recommend you do in person. Hold yourself accountable, join a gym, do it now. Or if you can't leave the house, do something online. I used to do Beachbody Fitness and I used to have like different videos for like different what was it called again? I can't remember what it was called. But Beachbody had a whole bunch of different things with like Chalene Johnson and you do things at home. Wednesdays are kind of like my float days. Sometimes I'll do my own thing, but usually I'll do a massage that day. And then Thursday I repeat again. I do the same thing with the same trainer on Thursdays. TRX. And then actually, I forgot to mention, Tuesdays and Thursdays are my 2-hour workout days, where after my TRX classes, I will do spinning for an hour with a really fun trainer. He has really high vibe music. He's pushing us. And I'm really, really building my glutes, which is awesome because I had my back surgery. So that's really good to keep my back strong. And you can build a butt without needing surgery to have butt implants. Because most people are like, how do I build my butt? So that's what I do for building my body, for weights, for resistance training. And then after, that's more cardio and butt building, and also quads. The last thing is Fridays, and I do the same workout that I did Monday. We're building core, we're building glutes, we're building legs. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I'm out diving, I'm out riding my bike 15 miles, 19 miles, out, and we call it jungle biking here because we don't have mountains, but I'm outside in Mother Nature, or I'm diving on Saturday. So the same thing you guys can do to get out in nature, to get in the sun, to do things where you're exercising without thinking too much about it. But that's how you start to build up. And you could also do things like yoga. You could do things like, fat burning yoga, but there's a lot of different other things that you could do where you are having fun. So work your way up to it. Okay. And when you're in classes with trainers that know that, they're going to prompt you. You just tell them, hey, I'm kind of new at this, but they'll know, but do something. Get at least 3 exercises scheduled in your week. And remember, walking is lymph drainage. It is not cardiovascular fitness as much as you need to do to burn fat, especially if you're on GLP-1s or 3s. You're on 3s if you're in part of my group. You're on retatrutide. Normally, you should be doing only GLP-3s when you're working with a doctor like our team under supervision. You should not be doing that without doctor supervision, or at least being in the VIP group, but highly recommended to be working with a doctor team. And then if you're doing 3 days of resistance training, you could do 2 days of walking on those other days, get 10,000 steps, get your steps in, get a stand-up treadmill desk, get something. And if you can't do any of these things, at least get in a sauna 4 times a week if you can't walk. But at least most people can walk. They might have injuries or whatever, but walk at least 10,000 steps, get in the sauna 3 to 4 times a week. And if you can't do crazy fitness, this isn't even crazy fitness. This is what we've always done. But most people are too tired. So until we can build that back up with you, which I can support you with a VIP group or as a patient, 3 days a week of at least 10,000 steps, 3 days a week of sauna until you can build up to this with the peptide protocols, with the warrior cleanse, detox strategies, drainage strategies, and more. All right, you guys, that's it for today. I am going to see you guys in the VIP group. I'm going to take a break real quick. I'll actually be in the VIP group in 10 minutes. So we're going to start a little bit late today. But remember, we're having our summer sale, 25% off supplements, which you'll get that coupon code. If you're a VIP member, you have to register to be a VIP member for $1. Link is below, dianekazer.com/VIP. And the link below, or the coupon code below, if you are not a VIP member, for 15% off of all cell core supplements. If you want to do anything, we'll put the coupon code below for you guys. And you guys can jump into dianekazer.com, click on Shop Di's Faves, and you'll see the access to the Cell Core supplements, my Collagen Queen. Use Summer 15 for 15% off. The day starts now, which the summer solstice is on Friday. But as of right now, you can get 15% off of all supplements that are in there that are Cell Core, as well as my Collagen Queen, until July 10th. And if you want more discount, you'll get your money back and more for being a part of our VIP group. I will look forward to seeing you guys there, as well as hopefully, if you're a patient, working with you directly. All right, you guys, share this with everybody you know, because we got to get moving. You got to get out of your funk, got to get out of energy drain, broken brain, weight gain, and energy. What's the other one? Body pain. We got to get you out of that cycle. You got to move. Whatever you don't move doesn't move out of you. So if you want to work on cleansing a thing, you could take supplements all day. You could eat the healthiest foods all day, but nothing's going to move unless you do. All right. So get moving, have fun, play with the earth, play with Mama Nature, get some sunshine. 80% of our mitochondria comes from the sun anyway, which they're trying to block. I know. So you got to get some infrared, which is like what I talked about inside of your sauna, which is why I love infrared so much. Light is healing. Light is our true original food source. All right. Especially because our food's being poisoned these days. All right, guys, see you on the other side. And then I'll see you next week. You will not see me on this podcast. We are not doing a show next week. But if you're in the VIP group, you will have Carrington, just as a reminder. Or that'll be June 25th. We will not be doing a show. We'll be back for July 2nd. All right. See you guys then. If not in the VIP group, bye for now. Love you all.